this is the way, man. We're both ill.
Hey.
Apparently, we're here to talk about Hawkeye episode 4. Apparently, I don't know. Yeah, well, that was a good episode. Anyway, it's been a great podcast, and I'll...
Okay, don't know what's happened right there with Manipy. Yeah, my drink is very closed.
No, I'll come back. Just to
he's
make
back.
sure, I'll come back.
You're
Because
silent.
we know one can't be trusted by themselves. So
We can't hear you, Manipy.
Hmm?
Hopefully you can hear me, but I can't.
I can hear you, yes. You can't hear me. I'm not on mute.
Talking, but we're not hearing nothing. The joys of going live at times. When it goes right, it goes.
Can you hear me now?
It doesn't.
Instead of talk. Oh, God. Can you hear me now?
A little bit. Let me talk.
Okay, turn your speakers back up a bit.
Yeah, there you go. I can hear you now.
Okay, right. Cool. Right, so we're here. We're both sick.
Yeah.
The echo's coming through again.
None on my side. I don't know what's going on.
It's coming through on your side. That's why you can't hear it. You're gonna have to buy yourself a decent pair of headphones.
Actually, I've got some new headphones. Speaking of,
If you could unbox them now, I'll just ad lib. So yeah, we're both sick. I haven't.
Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay,
Skull
stop.
candy. I bought these a few days ago.
Yeah, so I'll just mute him for a second. Yeah, so just dude, could you just unbox them and just get on with it? Like,
Manny P, there's a process.
just unbox them, please. So, yeah, so yeah, we've both been ill. I haven't actually left this floor of my house since Wednesday. No, Tuesday night was the last time I've been down once to post off my PCR test. I don't think it's the dreaded COVID, but one can't be too sure in these times. So hopefully I might even get the test result back during this stream, which would be pretty cool. Hopefully be negative, and I'll perk up.
Sean.
Right, I've unmuted you. Okay, so we're here to talk about Hawkeye episode 4 whilst you're unboxing. Just in general, what did you think?
Me?
Yes.
It would make sense it's me because there's no one else on the stream.
No, there's no one else.
So,
Somebody else wants to jump on though, that'd be great.
yes, I think it was okay. I know. Oh my. Woo-wee.
Okay. Could you just do the unboxing and talk about the thing, please?
Nah, look at that. In a little bag thing as well. Sorry, I get excited over these things. Headphones. Yeah, I thought it was good. I like the other characters. I'm not being funny though. I think I've already passed judgment on what's her name, Kate, and I am not, as it stands, I am not a fan. I just think she's being forced on us too much.
Okay, well, it's juxtaposed to that. I love her. I think she's great. But I guess I'm currently watching Arcane as well, where Hayley Steinfeld voices the main character. And I watching that and watching Hawkeye, I think she's a superstar in the making.
I am totally not sold on her. And I just think, oh, God, when she's not on screen, I actually enjoy it a lot better. She's just cringy. She just has everything about her that says privileged. Right, now is the moment of truth. We're going to test this out now, Manny.
Take my headphones off. I don't know what he's done. He's an idiot. Oh, God, he's actually totally disconnected himself. So, I'll just do this by myself. This is amazing. So, yeah, I thought this was a really interesting episode, personally. I think there's a really interesting... A few interesting things have come through in this episode because we've noticed that actually there's a lot more things potentially going on in the background than we were aware of. So the intrigue is building and building. So essentially, I think firstly we have to talk about Laura Barton, and I think Mr. K was in the chat. Mr. Clint phones up Laura, starts talking to her, asking her to do checks and stuff. And she's doing those checks and she's getting those results, and she's speaking in German to help, distract the kids away from what they're actually talking about. I mean, Laura isn't your bog standard housewife. There's a lot more to Laura Barton than meets the eye. Okay, I think he's coming back.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, and there's no echo anymore.
There you go, the power of Skull Candy.
Yes, well done, Skull Candy. Anyway, we're just talking about Laura Barton.
Okay.
Okay. So I was just discussing how when Hawkeye needed some information on Jack and the Tracksuit Mafia or the Tracksuit Draculas, Clint phones up his wife, and his wife not only does these checks on them, she switches into German and starts talking in German, so the kids don't 100% know what they're talking about. And the echoes come back for some reason. Really? I do not know why. Let me turn.
What's going on? Considering I haven't got that in. Is it still there?
Okay, I've actually speak, please.
Yeah, hello.
Okay, 1 second.
What about now? Is it okay?
Don't hate me. I'm turning down your mic just a little bit. Okay. Speak.
Yeah, now? No?
Yeah, that's better. So she's phoned up, he's phoned up Laura, and Laura's like busting out into German, all kinds of stuff. Mate, Laura Barton is a shield agent. I mean, Mr. Cato in the comments agrees with me. Mr. Cato is even pointing out that in the comics, Mockingbird was Clint's main love interest. Still is his main love interest as far as I'm aware in the comics. We've already had a version of Mockingbird in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But again, I think there's two things which could be said about that. Number one, we don't really consider Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be canon anymore. Where have you gone? Okay, you're back. And number two, I'm still getting that weird echo. I don't know what's going on. And number two, maybe the term Mockingbird is it could be like an agent name that's passed down to different agents. Like one agent retires and it's given to another agent. At the very least, Laura was a analyst for S.H.I.E.L.D. at the very least, and that maybe explains as well why she wasn't the jealous type around Barton and Natasha, because maybe she already knew. Maybe she already knew Natasha from the S.H.I.E.L.D. days, and them three used to hang out together and have lunch and stuff. And
she's definitely an agent, 100%. Because think about it, those kind of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents have way more deeper classification than even Secret Service. So in order for you to actually be a Secret Service, even if you're married, you'd have to keep those information in terms of your job private from your partner.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she knows all his business, it's not because he's a trusting guy that don't know how to keep his mouth shut. It basically means that she's also an agent as well, which means she's not just a regular. To the kids, they probably just think, oh, it's just daddy alone. But he knows that she's actually not just a regular person, which probably means that maybe where they're living, where the kids go to school, it might be a special school where it's just for like government, like agents, family. So it's not a regular school. It's not a regular facility, which means no one is just regular everywhere where they are.
Well, another thing that was brought up as well on the internet, because the internet is amazing, was that in Age of Ultron, when we were first introduced to Laura and the rest of the Barton family, Tony Stark walks in and he goes, "This is definitely an agent's house," and we
Yeah.
all know. And we all know that, you know, he's usually the woman of the house who decorates the house and nests it in the way that she wants to. And I think Tony Stark recognized straight away Laura is also a secret agent who just took time out to be a mum.
Yeah, but still being an agent as well. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
still,
there's, you know, you're
still
never
being able.
not an agent. I think you're just never an agent once you're dead or you've gone rogue. I think that's the only way out. I think those type of government agency like Shield, which technically it's kind of like it's above the government. It's part of the government, but they don't answer to regular regulations like everyone else. So I think in those kind of job, you don't leave. There's no such thing as, oh, you know, I'm retiring and going down. I think the kind of information that you leave yourself open to receiving means that you can never leave. Literally, like you're in it for life.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Like once you know that confidential information, you're always bound by that confidential information, and you're always gonna, you know, you can't, unless it's like Men in Black, you can't, like, that information cannot be erased from your memories. And as Mr. Cater points out, the reason, and this also as well, like why Nick Fury helped the Clint family in Avengers 2 as well. You know, I think all of these, like Clint, Laura, Nick Fury, Natasha, they've all probably been through like the wars together. They've all been like numerous operations together in the past, in the 90s and the early noughties, I imagine. Yeah, I really like this concept. Actually, there's a lot more to Laura Barton than what meets the eye.
Yeah, 100%. And it makes you think also now, how many languages does she speak?
Probably loads, I imagine. Probably
You know,
loads.
I think it will be interesting, you know, to see the character development on her. But they probably won't. You know, they'll probably just leave that as a mystery. But it would be interesting because the fact is now it's going to pique people's interest to say, well, she clearly knows about Shield. She knew he was Ronin. She knows everything. So it's like nothing. There's no surprise with him when it comes to her.
Well, yeah, I think they might introduce this like Mockingbird kind of maybe past to her. Because in Marvel's Agents of Shield, because you never watched it, the character who they had played Mockingbird like becomes a love interest for another agent, and they leave Marvel's Agents of Shield, and they were going to have their own TV series, and they never did. They just like forgot about it and just like, yeah, sorry, we're not going to do it anymore. So it does suggest to me that maybe, you know, there's plans for a Mockingbird character, or not like huge plans to like revolutionize the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but just there to serve a purpose.
All right. I'm just noticing something as well, you know, Manny.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually using my 1080 HD camera. It's using the actual camera from the laptop.
Okay, well, just go with it now. It's it's not. This is
That's your fault, Manny.
Shut up, bro.
Since I put this headphones in,
this is why I told you to log in early, not a minute before, to get all this stuff out of the way.
Okay, that's on me.
Yeah. Okay, just know your goddamn place. So yeah, I thought that was a really interesting point about Laura. I was making more notes, which I was going to discuss. And then you hate it when you look at your notes and you can't read your own handwriting.
Well, you know what I do to avoid that? I made a few notes for like the characters, things like that, but I did it on my phone.
Okay, it begins with W. What possibly was I going to? What begins with W? Jesus Christ!
World?
No, it wasn't world. All right, we'll come back to it. Anyway, so you charge 10p per hour for Mr. Cato. Charge a lot more than 10p per hour. You're underselling yourself. The most you could make legitimately in a day is £1.20. You're underselling yourself massively.
15p. I think that's
I mean, that's it's better. It's better. I mean, Davian, I'll take advantage of that whilst he is so cheap, and he is very good at tech support as well.
Yeah, definitely. We need to arrange that, Mr. Cato. You come down and see what's
Dowdy, I
going
think
on
it
with
should
this.
definitely be 15 at the least. Okay, pounds. Yes, thank you, pounds. Yes, I'm glad we got that clarified.
Jesus, I ain't getting paid that much yet from the VEA, so you know.
Well, you're not being paid anything, so.
Well, thank you. Now you let everyone know that I'm broke out there.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, let me go into my take on it.
Davian can be found busking outside Wood Green Station later if you want to bump into him.
No, today's Saturday. It won't be Wood
Doing,
Green. Today
doing really bad air supply covers.
Yeah. And don't forget ABBA.
And ABBA as well, yeah. So go on, you're going to make a point.
Yeah. So my take was, it was interesting when they all sat around the table.
Mm-hmm.
You could really see.
So let's just frame this. So we're talking Kate and Clint on one side of the table.
Yeah, Kate. Yeah, so it was Kate,
Clint,
Clint,
Eleanor, and Jacques.
Yeah,
Everybody calls him Jack. I'm going to call him Jacques because that sounds more French. On the other side of the table,
Jacques. And I think the more we see of Jacques, the more you can actually see he's not really a villain. He's not a bad guy.
Sorry, I need to cough.
Yeah, I think Manny got choked up listening to, just from that deduction what I just made. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just choking up thinking, my God, why can't I have some of a semblance of intelligence as my co-host? Sorry, did I say that whilst I was on?
That's where you were choking right there. That's punishment right there for such blasphemy. But yes, Jacques isn't really a villain. I think he's like one of those kids, at school where he's trying to fit in and he's trying to do things to say like, yes, I'm just like you guys, but really and truly he's not. You look at Eleanor's demeanor and now you can totally see that this is not her first dance. Being in a situation like that, she wasn't entirely shocked like, oh, an Avenger is in my house. She knows how to play just enough to act like she's a little surprised, but at the same time, you can see through it to know that she's nothing like scared.
I think she was. Look at her eyes. She was worried that Avenger was in her house. I don't think it was like a surprise, like, oh my God, it's an Avenger. I think it was more like, are they onto me?
You're right. That's what it's more like. I think she was more like, oh, is this are you hearing like official Avengers level business? She was trying to fish, but at the same time, she wasn't or whatever. And
so Mr. Cato thinks that maybe Kate's mum is using Jock's business.
Yeah, 100%. You could tell. I think that's why, Kate thinks it's Jacques that killed his great uncle. It was his great uncle, wasn't it?
Armand, yeah. His uncle, Uncle Armand.
Yeah, his uncle. Yeah. But I think we really know that it wasn't him. It was actually Eleanor that done it.
Well, I remember in the first podcast, you were adamant it was Jacques who killed him.
Was I?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was wrong then. That's one of the few times I've been wrong. But yes, I was wrong. I can
a few times. I'm actually going to make a compilation video of all the times you've just said something utterly ridiculous on these streams.
Well, if you can find evidence of that, then that would be nice for our 1 year, when we do like our 1 year podcast.
God, it'll be like a 2-hour stream. My God, I'd have to.
Well, on this occasion, where I can actually say, all right, yes, I was actually wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's not him. I think it's more her. Reason being, it goes back to what I'm saying. I think the uncle was more like her in the sense he's a ruthless.
The comments agree, by the way. This would be a very long video if we done a video about your mistakes.
Yeah, if we're doing the video about me being right, but we're not doing that. We're talking about
you know what you mean. Stop being a little right-wing conservative and twisting the truth.
No, I'm just saying,
No,
we're not offending anyone out there, so we're not saying all conservatives.
You're living in your delusional little world. Come on, let's bring it back to reality. Come on.
But yes, bringing it back in, as I was saying before, I was
my brother was urging me, that it's my job to make you better. So
yeah, and I'm better, Anyway, where's Kay today?
He can't make it today.
Oh well. Shout out Kay when you watch this.
He's got a family and stuff, so I guess
leave some notes in. But you need to prioritize this. You know,
He did. He did say like he. I think he did like text me to say like, "Oh, why isn't it Friday night? I can do Friday night."
Yeah, that's your fault again, Manny.
Yeah,
But
we're both sick. We're both sick. But
yeah,
anyway, back on to
we're digressing. But yeah, I think she killed the uncle because I think the uncle is more similar mindset, ruthless like her. And I think the uncle could just tell that Jacques isn't that way. Jacques is just like a privileged kid who wants to act like, yes, I can do things, but really and truly, he's in way over his head. Like he feels like he's in control, but he's not. You could clearly see just by her demeanor that she's actually in control of everything what's going on. And once I think he's like a pet to her. I think once she gets to a stage where she's like, you know what, I don't need him now. I think she will eliminate him just like that without a second thought. On top of that, I think the phone call that she made was to the big man. I feel the phone call she made. No, not you. The other big man.
Okay.
Kingpin.
Oh, yeah, I'm not that big. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I think it was to the Kingpin that she made that call. But I'm all for them actually, you know,
taking notes,
increasing the stock of your characters, as in making the Kingpin, you know, we want to make sure he makes an entrance and he's known, okay, yes, he's the Kingpin. But, you know, even the way our Hawkeye talked about the Kingpin, literally he's acting like the big man is this big bad, like he's on Thanos level, and he's not.
Kingpin, he's not on Thanos level, but he's a powerful dude, man. You do not mess with the Kingpin.
Yeah, he's a powerful dude, but at the same time, he's a dude. You could still, someone like Hawkeye who's been through all them battles, you're telling me he could not take out Kingpin?
Okay, you need to come on, please, come on. Be sensible.
No, so you're telling me
you're not thinking about the bigger picture. Be sensible. Come on.
What's the bigger picture? Explain it to me.
It's the amount of power. You could probably take Boris Johnson in a fight, couldn't you?
Oh, thank you, Manny. I feel so, but then again, we never know.
But
Boris.
Who has more power?
Boris does.
Exactly.
Yeah, but how many men of power has someone like Clint taken down? Hawkeye.
This is the point. We're building up Kingpin to be this huge bad, which even Clint hasn't taken down yet. Even Clint was a bit like, oh, there's somebody above him. Even Clint sounds a bit wary of the Kingpin. Kingpin
it's one
must
thing to
have lots of connections in lots of different pies. It must be very
one thing to be wary of him. But,
otherwise, he would be a pointless supervillain to write if he's going to be that easy to take down.
Sure. I mean, you have to, but you still have to gauge it, you know, considering what they've been through and what he is, then to me, you wouldn't be that scared. You'd be like, okay, yeah, he's a bad guy, and you leave it like that. But that's one of the things I didn't that kind of threw me off. And then the next was when, the mom was talking about the daughter, like, oh, I don't want her involved in any kind of Avenger thing because, and he's like, yeah, she's good, she's blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yes, but, she's like, yes, but Natasha was very good too, was a very good agent. And look what happened to her. To me, that was a big, like, maybe I'm just looking too much into it. But I thought, how can you put them on the same level? You can't compare Natasha, Black Widow, what she's done, what she's capable of, to your privileged daughter who shot down a bell. And now because she can do, again, which is why I said...
I think that's a false equivalency you're making, David. I think she was just saying, like, look, your friend Natasha died. I don't want my daughter to die as well. I think that's all she was saying. I think you've read something into it which wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've just got a bias against...
Yeah, I think you have, and it's clouding your judgment. So for episode 5, Dowdy, if you could start your webcam, that'd be great. I'm fucking serious. If you start your webcam, that'd be great. We have a third guest on.
That would actually be good because I'm tired of mostly being right, but
Yes, everybody is tired of you mostly being right. You are absolutely correct.
What can I say? But I mean, even...
And actually, no, Mr. Cato, and this is why I'd love for Mr. Cato to be a guest, because he comes up with these novel points which are amazing. Kate's mum used Black Widow to get in Clint's head. Yeah, she used the Black Widow point to emotionally manipulate Clint in that moment. She was just like, "Oh, where's that open wound? Yeah, I'll just poke my finger in there. There you go."
Yeah, but that shouldn't work on him.
But it did work, Davian. That's the point.
Yeah, I know. But the reason why I'm saying that was, I mean, when
Why
we looked
wouldn't it
at
work? So you're saying he shouldn't be upset about his best friend dying?
no, even if so, you're saying that Black Widow is more mentally stronger than him.
Okay, I don't know how you've actually come to that sentence. You're going to have the mental gymnastics you must have gone through. That's still not
No.
people. The mental
reason why I'm
gymnastics
saying that
you
was-
must have gone through to make that sentence. I don't know how you got on there, honestly.
Well, you remember was it in Avengers 1? Was it Avengers 1 when
No. Could you please explain to me how you've come to that conclusion? Because it's making no sense whatsoever.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. You just keep your mouth closed long enough for me to actually see which one of the
If you just make sense for once in your life, then we might
was
actually
it Avengers 1 when we first saw Black Widow when she was being held hostage, and then she actually switched it around on the guys, or even in Avengers when she was with Loki, and Loki was basically like thought that he got into her head, only for her to actually switch it that he was actually afraid. His biggest fear was the fact that he wanted Hulk. And then she was like, oh, so that's what you're really after. But to how he actually was going on at her, he actually thought he had gotten into her head. In reality, he actually didn't. Even if there was probably some truth to it, she still did not let up. Because probably with any agent, even when you're going undercover, like they'll say, you do have to invest parts of you into that role, whatever you're doing, as an undercover.
This is the story they're telling. As infallible as Clint should be as an agent, he's still very much a human being. He is bruised physically because of the hearing loss and everything, and he's bruised, bruised emotionally, having his family dust away, then dust back, like having Natasha die on him, have other Avengers like die on him. He's a mess. This is what this story is. This is a story about him not knowing his place in the world as well, because he doesn't want the life. He wants his life with his family. He very clearly does not want that life of an agent anymore, or an Avenger. And this is what this story is about. And Eleanor making that point, Natasha just saying it to him, Natasha. That again, that just needles away at him. You can be as strong as you want, but those emotions for Clint at the moment are still. In the opening scene of this series, you see Clint in the theatre watching the musical, look at a little girl dressed as Natasha, and it just and you can see in his face, it all brings it back to him. And that is his 1 week thing at the moment. Natasha, bring up Natasha in any way, shape, or form. And this is why he's finding it harder with Kate as well, because Kate reminds him of Natasha, because it's another kind of stray which he's like picked up, much like Natasha, and he's very impressed by her acumen with a bow. So yeah, on the plus side, Mr. Cater's gonna come with a camera next week. It'd be great. And yes, Clint is still grieving for Natasha, bro. This is the strength's got nothing to do with it. This is a human story. The world isn't in this weird kind of. The world doesn't work in this weird kind of compartmentalized way in which you think it does. You need to see a therapist. You have issues you have to work through.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've got some issues. Oh, trust me, I'm going to be working out some issues next week, actually.
Oh God.
Hence why I've got the bearded look right now. I'm going through.
Okay. Just don't do it on the stream, please.
No, it won't be on the stream. I'm just doing some. I'm doing some training.
Okay, and if you do, just open your own OnlyFans account and don't include us in it.
Oh no, this can't be seen. This won't be seen for TV. But literally, I know I'm slightly digressing right now. But literally, this is my music right now for my training.
Don't play the music. Don't play the music. You'll get us blocked.
Eminem till I collapse. No, I'm just telling you. But I'm just saying that's my training music regime right now. because I've got an event
Okay,
in a
well,
few days. So
we'll,
yes,
we'll swap gym playlists later. One's very good, I have to admit. So, but getting back to Hawkeye, so yeah, I think what Dowdy says there is great. It's just like, yeah, Eleanor, and I think it shows as well exactly how manipulative Eleanor is. You know, as you said, she's looks like she could be manipulating Jacques or Jacques, however we want to pronounce his name. Jacques, I think is the best.
Monsieur Jacques.
And she knew exactly what to say to Clint to kind of needle away at him as well. She's Madam Mask, 100% for me. Well, not 100%, probably about 75%. But yeah, I think. But see, I was watching another stream, and they were talking about how well Jacques had been written as a character. And they were saying that there are I'm not sure I agree with this, but I'm just putting it out there for the sake of discussion. So maybe Jacques, they're kind of like muddying it a bit too much about whether he's a good guy or bad guy. Like they were saying, like, it's okay to have mystery attached to a character, but you're just looking at this guy and just not seeing either or. You're just kind of seeing a mess in terms of his intention.
Exactly, which is exactly why I felt like the uncle saw who the real threat was, which was Eleanor. She could just see that Jacques is just one of them privileged boys that's just, oh, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that. You know, one of them ones that's probably gone to a function, brush shoulders with been in a room with a few bad guys, and all of a sudden he feels like, oh, you know, to get in, oh yes, I can get that for you, I can get, and all of a sudden he feels like he's part of that life when he's not.
See, I take your point.
I think she sees that. Eleanor saw that and saw what the connection, as in with his wealth and what he can actually bring for her. And she just thought, well, you know what? I could do it, but it would be a lot easier if I get him do it through that. So, you know what? Why not? In order for me to keep up this front as well, I can just be the devoted, you know, wife, you know, fiance, blah, 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 whatever. That's just running a security company, you know, single mom, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, just found love and that's it or whatever. And she'll just go completely under the radar because no one would think twice that she's doing any of this because, as they always say, it's the loudest ones in the room usually it's the quietest one in the room that you should really be worried about. And it's her.
Yeah, I mean,
like you said, I mean, going back to your point, what you made like last week when was it in last week's episode or was it episode 2?
I don't know the point you're going to make. So
when Kate and Jacques was sparring.
Yeah, episode before that, but yeah.
And she was not worried in the least bit.
No.
Not at, you know, like a regular person who's not been around violence or anything like that, especially from her background where, you know, she's now literally, she's a wealthy woman. So she's not like a middle class. She's an upper class person now in terms of her wealth where she is. She would have been like appalled, like, oh my God, what's going on? Panic. She didn't seem phased in the least bit whatsoever. But she knew enough to play enough to say, oh, be careful, you know, you almost stabbed him, just so it seems like, you know what, she was slightly worried, but in reality, she's not.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely seen stuff. I think Jacques, for me, when Laura gets those checks back, it does say that Jacques is kind of in charge of the Tracksuit Mafia guys. So there's a lot of mystery there to be uncovered. I think what we're going to find is, yes, that happened.
Ain't that easy enough to assume? Just, you know, someone like, if he's that smart or if they're as smart as whatever, you think someone of his contact wouldn't have been able to gone through multiple shell corporation, you know, fake this to actually, before it could actually be traced back to him. It was traced back to him very, 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 very easily.
Hey, Laura's very good at her job, and as somebody who's done a similar job to Laura in the past, so I don't mind saying so. You know, some people are better at it than other people quite easily, and some people can get that information. Like, you have some people looking for that kind of information 5 hours. Somebody like me walking like 5 minutes later, yeah, I've solved it. Can I go home now, please? Yeah. happens. But what I think we're seeing is that there is actually a very complicated situation going on. So if you've got Kingpin up here controlling like all the organized crime on the, say, New York, maybe the East Coast, maybe. We'll just say New York for the time being, but maybe the East Coast as well. You've got Kingpin controlling all that. Then you've probably got underneath him, you've probably got a few other like different like criminal organizations like Eleanor's, Armand's, Jacques. And I think it's just all trying to work out how they all interplay with each other and who's working for who and whatnot.
Yeah, I think he's like the silent figure in all of this. I think literally only those who really know, i.e., like, Clint, will know there is actually the Kingpin or, the Punisher, Daredevil. Those kind of people know, oh, there is the Punisher's the real bad behind all of this. But I think for everyone else, they will think it's whoever else it is that's in charge.
So where did the Punisher come from? Where did the Punisher come from?
Punisher met Kingpin.
Okay.
I said only people like the Punisher would know how dangerous Kingpin is.
Okay, I got it. I thought you were making another wayward point. I thought you were making another wayward point. So I do worry about where you go sometimes. So I think 100%. There's some weird stuff going on there. So I want to just skip ahead to the main part of the show. Actually, I just want to talk about a bit I loved. I don't care if you didn't like it. Generally don't. But I loved the bit when so Laura works out where the watch is. And we have to talk about the watch. In fact, this was what I'd written down, which I couldn't read. Watch. That was what I'd written down.
Oh, that's what the W
discuss watch. So yeah, Laura worked out where the watch was with the beeping thing. And I just loved it. And I know you're going to be like, but I love the scene where like Clint's like, oh, we're going to get into the flat by doing this and doing that, jumping onto that beam over there, and Kate's kind of just like helped the old man up with his groceries. I loved that was the scene for me personally that really endeared me to Kate. That scene with her in the lift with the old man, and she's like, oh, I've got an Avenger in my voice, and she opens her mouth with a big smile. I just loved that. That was the point for me. I thought, I like you, Kate. You're cool. I like you.
That was so corny and just so over the top and just so millennial. That's what that was.
You got to be down with the kids, man. You got to be down with the kids.
Entitled.
One second, we're millennial. We're both millennials. What are you talking about?
They don't consider us. They more consider what these people do.
No, David, we're millennials.
Yeah, in reality, we're supposed to be, but no one refers to
we us. Are not supposed to be. We are.
But no one refers to 80s and 90s babies. Well, 80s as millennial. They refer to these 2000s plus babies as millennials.
Okay, see, this is where you have logic holes in your own arguments.
But that's correct, Manny. Every video that you see when someone is...
Dave,
so wait, hang on. You're telling me that all
these... We discuss this off fair because...
No, answer the question. All the videos you see online now when people are arguing with these teens, they don't refer to them as millennials.
It doesn't matter. They refer to them as Gen Zers.
Yeah, but they don't say that. They refer to them as that. I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying.
No, they get referred to as Gen Zers. We get referred to as millennials. We're the ones who moan about everything. That's what millennials get accused of. Gen Zers and the ones after are the ones who've got all the privilege and don't work for anything.
They just call us old. Like, yeah, we're old.
You need to read more BuzzFeed articles. You need to stay in touch with what's going on the ground.
Or be hip with the young folks, yeah?
Yeah. David, if you want to like keep up with like popular culture, which is what the MCU is, it's a reflection of popular culture. You have to stay on top of these things, even if you don't want to.
Well, going back to what I'm saying about her.
Thank you. It is Gen Z. Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying, that really made me like her.
What walking? You're telling me that didn't, there was no one thought that was strange that you got in the early hours of the evening, night. You got a girl coming through. It's not Halloween, coming through with a bow and arrow on her back and shoulder, just walking in a building and it's not really anything. It doesn't bring any alarm bells.
Hey, he seemed fine. To man the groceries. It's America. People walk over AR-15s. You know, they're probably not going to be too freaked out with somebody wearing a bow over their shoulder.
Yeah, and I guess when you're a certain, ethnicity, then it doesn't get that kind of attention. But it just goes to show, which is why I say she seemed very, very privileged. Even like the scene to me when they were hanging out watching movie night, which I thought that was cool because obviously it's still the festive spirit and he's a bit banged up. That was cool. What annoyed me in that scene was when, he was telling her about certain tricks that he could do with the arrows and all of that. I thought, okay, that's really great. That's nice. But then when he showed her one thing with like the coin, when he switched off the TV or whatever, she mastered that in 2 goes. Two tries.
That was an edited scene. That was like, I'm sure there were plenty of other chances of it. They're not going to show like the entire 4-hour training montage, are they?
Do you think it would have taken him even one night to master something like that? No, it wouldn't. So unless this generation is just that much more clever that she could just master, even if it took her...
judging by some of the stuff which has been said by the gentleman in Davie P, I think the next generation probably is a lot more intelligent than our generation, comparatively speaking. Yeah, I do believe that.
Manny, remember we sent you that video with someone from this next generation when a certain judge says, well, it's not rocket science. You know what rocket science is?
Yeah, okay, so just so everybody's aware, Davian in his spare time sits at home watching Judge Judy and sends us clips of it into the WhatsApp, which for what reason none of us know, in all fairness, but hey-ho. Okay, right.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so in the comments, and because you do have a reputation for going on a bit, Dowdy's asking, Mr. Cato is asking, give us 5 reasons why you do not like Kate. In fact, I'm going to ask you to list 3 because I don't want to be until 8
3.
PM.
I think she is the character itself. They're not taking their time to develop it to make you have a proper attachment to it. I think it's just being too forced. She just seemed too privileged. Literally, she's like a privileged girl who likes. It seems like a lot of the things she's doing is to just kind of like get under the skin of her mom because she's, well, me and I'm not getting enough attention from mommy, so I'm going to just do this and do that. So that's my first reason. My second reason is, again, it just seems like they're so eager to go with this next, this next phase of where you got someone else taking over a certain role that literally they want her to be like the new Hawkeye. So all of a sudden now she's just coming in, she's just mastering everything super quickly. Again, it just doesn't show. There's no growth to the character. There's no hardship. He's already told her, literally in the first 2 episodes, you're one of the best archers I've ever seen. Why are you saying that? Don't care how good you are as a character. If your sensei who's teaching you tell you, you're one of the best, you're the best prodigy I've ever seen, that's not going to actually make that person want to actually train that much harder to develop them skills and master. You learn that through your master never really telling you how good you are. They always tell you, oh, you could do better. That's not it. That's actually pushes you and motivates you. She's already showing how arrogant she is by when he was telling her, let's scope out the place before we go in there. She'd already gone down there and got inside or whatever. So those are my 3 reasons.
So I'll just unmute myself. I was just watching. I was just keeping myself updated on the football scores. And just apparently Arsenal just scored. Where did it go?
For Kate.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. So, Kato, are you happy? I wasn't listening in all fairness. Kato, are you happy with
No, because you're closed-minded because you're deluded about Kate. But we know what's going to happen to her. She's going to die at some point.
Only the delusional call other people delusional.
She going to die. And I'm going to be there like...
God, you're like a child sometimes. Okay. Yeah, so she gets into What it turns out is actually Echo's. What are you doing?
That's my pose for when it happens. Yeah, go on. You were saying about Echo.
Dear Lord. Right. Yeah. Okay. I think it's because I'm sick as well. You're just like making even less sense to me than you normally do. So she enters Echo's apartment and she finds the watch, and Clint kind of reveals that the watch belonged to somebody which he knew, but he doesn't want to talk too much about it because he's worried that the watch in some way might blow the identity of the owner of the watch, which is a lot of mystery for me, which has suddenly been thrown in. I like it, but I'm like, okay, this is from total like kind of left field here. Who do you think the watch belongs to?
I think maybe it belongs to like Nick Fury.
That's a good shout.
Because
You can
it's a
expand on
man's
that at
watch.
all?
It's not a woman's watch. So I think it's definitely Nick Fury. Yeah, that's it. It's
Okay.
definitely wouldn't be for Kingpin, because it wouldn't be. Why would they need a watch to track Kingpin? I think that's something more like what an agent would have, since it's got a tracker inside it.
Okay. The Kato thinks maybe the watch was given to Clint from his wife. Okay, so maybe that's how she tracked Clint, maybe using her special agent kind of access levels. Maybe I like that show. It does look like a man's watch. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit miffed actually who that watch could belong to. I think it is pointing towards that kind of Bart within the Barton family.
Yeah, or maybe it's a watch for Ronin.
Oh my god! I think Kato's just hit the nail on the head. Of course, no. This makes perfect sense. If Kato is right, this makes perfect sense. Of course it does. Because if you turn the watch over and it says something like, "Oh, from your dearest Laura," on the back of engraved on the back of it, "Kiss, kiss, kiss, happy anniversary." Maybe they've then, because then next to the watch there was a list of the names of Barnes' family, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So what if, Kato, you're a genius. You're exactly what this stream is missing. This kind of in-depth analysis. Amazing, sir. Amazing. So what if, turn the watch over, see, love you, cuddly bear, Clinty, from Love from Laura, and from there, she's been using her kind of her own kind of what's the term? Access to different kind of intelligent sources, so basically then work out who Laura is. 1 second.
Well, I'm sure, yeah, Mr. Cater, y'all can listen, but yeah, that would be a good theory. But the only thing that I think would kind of throw that off is the fact that the watch wasn't missing from their possession. It was from Shield, wasn't it? Like a Shield vault or something like that. That's where the watch was, right?
No, it's from the Avengers compound.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, the Avengers compound. So why would his personal watch be at the Avengers compound?
Because he used to live at the Avengers compound. Because he was an Avenger.
Actually, yeah, it could make sense, because maybe that was like his only token, as in the sense like, I'll keep this with me. So he probably kept it there. But I think it's more along the line of something to do with agents. Either it's probably, or it could be Tony Stark.
Why would Hawkeye be at his base of operations? Why would he be there?
Working Hawkeye. You wouldn't carry personal stuff there, because even though it's your safe house,
I'm gonna have to get you
broken into.
I'm gonna have to get you a book on basic comprehension skills.
Yeah, but but Logic 101. You're not gonna bring your personal stuff to your work. especially in that
Everybody
line of
brings
work.
personal stuff to their work.
Well, yeah, if your work is a regular work, but where your work is where you're killing people, you're killing people. And if they were to find out certain things about your life, that would put your loved ones in danger. Why would you bring something like that there unless it's something to do with work?
Because people like, even in a situation like that, they like something that just connects them to home.
I guess.
Even when you're like in the middle of it, you still want that little heirloom that just links you back to what you're fighting for. And in Clint's case, he would have been fighting for Laura. He would have been fighting for his children, whether it had been one child, two children, or three children at that point in his life. Yeah, and as Mr. Cato points out, he's not actually physically killing people at the compound. And Clint probably thinks that the compound is probably quite a secure place. Granted, Ant-Man done a little, compromise that security, but he probably thinks my personal stuff's going to be quite safe here because we've got Stark Tech like looking after this place. Probably going to be okay. Probably going to be okay. Anyway.
That's so weird, Manny. Since you just came back on the stream after you disappeared, and now I can actually hear you inside the headphones. For the last 50 minutes, it wasn't through the headphones I was hearing you. I was hearing you through the actual speaker of the actual laptop. But since you came back on now, it's just in the headphone. I can actually hear you now.
That is
random.
That is, yeah. That's, yeah. I'm gonna have to do a bit of research on how all this audio stuff resets itself.
Yeah, Mr. Cato, we'll take you up on that 10p a minute, 10p an hour. Sorry.
No, I'm not having to exploit my friends like that. Sorry. The compound was a safe place before Thanos. Absolutely. It was before Thanos came in and like bombed it to oblivion in the end game. It was a safe place. It was one of the most secure places on planet Earth, I imagine, before Thanos came and took it out. So I like that. So I addressed the emotional reasons, and Mr. Cato addressed the practical reasons as to why the watch would be there. Wonderful. Anyway, so we see the house has got these cool kind of alarms, which are specifically made for Echo. And Echo comes in, and we get a cool little fight going between Echo and Kate. I thought it was a nice touch that she like radios to Clint, like, being beaten up here by Echo. What the hell's going on? And he's like, "No, I'm being beaten up by Echo. Like, you can't be being beaten up by Echo as well." And then they both make it across to the top of the other building, and they have a big four-way fight. You wonder if Yelena and Echo were working together.
No.
But actually, Echo then kicks Yelena right in the face, and you're like, okay, they're not working together. That's interesting, because I like the way it's all kind of splitting up into different, like, three-way kind of, there's lots of different strands to where these allegiances lie. I thought there were some really nice bits in here. I liked that when Kate falls over the top of the building and Clint thinks, oh, it's going to be Natasha over again. But luckily she's like attached herself to the cord. They actually play the music.
But was it her that did that, or was it actually was it her that actually attached it herself?
That's a good point.
Because I'm pretty sure it was actually who was beating her up that actually attached it.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And I
kicked her off because she didn't want to kill her, which was that was Yelena.
Yeah.
That did that to her.
Yeah, which then explains why he didn't take the shot later. But they actually used the music from Avengers Endgame when Natasha falls to her death. They used the same soundtrack music, which was a nice touch, which kind of like plays again on how much Natasha's death is playing a factor in Clint's life. I thought it was a nice touch. Then it all kicks off and Karen fighting, and Kate has a shot at Yelena and she doesn't take it, echoing what Hawkeye said that his best shot was the one he never took when he never shot Natasha, and they wouldn't have had this amazing friendship going forward, which actually worries me because I actually worry that Clint might die.
Well, you got female Clint 2.0 now, so she'll be able to save the world. I mean, she's mastered everything already. He's got nothing less to teach her.
Okay, well, I hope that wasn't misogyny kicking in.
That was super sarcasm.
Either way, yeah, okay. Yeah, so I just thought it was a very nice touch. I thought this was a nice way to build up a potential friendship between Kate and Yelena moving forward. Because
how many? She's coming there with vengeance on her mind, based on what the information that was given to her. That he's the one who killed your sister. So I don't see how she would have any kind of friendship on her mind.
Okay, do you know what the term potential means? Go and look at the term potential and then speak.
No, but I know what potential. But how could you deduce that from that interaction? Right?
How could you not deduce that from that scene?
She comes there to fight and kill.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful writing. I've just explained it 2 minutes ago.
But Manny, they haven't said anything to each other. So how could you say there's a potential of anything? So you're saying getting kicked over the wall off the top of a roof, but she didn't kill you. She took pity on you and didn't want to kill you. She just wanted you out the way. That was basically the basis of a possible potential friendship.
Were you dropped on the head as a baby?
I don't know what happened.
I think you might have been. So going back to it again, I can't believe I've got to explain this again.
Yeah, explain it again.
Oh God. Actually, I'm not going to. I'm just going to move on.
Because that made no sense, Manny.
It did make sense.
But man, they did not have any kind of interaction except the physical, just the fighting for that brief minute. There was no talking at
potential. All. The term is potential.
Yeah, but
potential.
All right. Please, Mr. Cato, in the comment, please explain to me how could you get potential friendship just from based on them just fighting there? There was not even. It's not like they were fighting and talking. It was just physical.
So what the narrative of this episode has been, was Clint talking about, the best shot I never took was the one against Natasha. I could have killed Natasha, but I never. I saw something in her, which made me think, actually, she's actually a good person and she's ready to leave that lifestyle. Again, in that moment, he saw potential. There had never been any interaction between Clint and Natasha in that moment, but he saw potential that something could happen. Same with Kate. And what they're trying to do is, whether it was shut up. Whether it was executed well or not is a different argument. But what they were trying to replay from a narrative point of view was that actually Kate is now having that moment with Yelena where she could have taken the shot but didn't. And again, in the future, we're hopefully going to find actually this is going to be the best shot that Kate never took. Because Yelena's I'm sure they're building to some kind of narrative where Yelena and Kate will build some kind of a friendship moving forward. This is the basic narrative they're telling, which is obvious to everyone but you.
That's obvious to you because what you're saying there made absolute no sense.
Davian,
here's why I'm counting. Okay, well,
Davian, I've watched about 4 different other streams on this episode before I jumped on this one. They've all made exactly the same point I'm making right now.
Doesn't mean that they're right just because everyone makes it's all assumptions people are just making. But you look at it.
But the fact that you can't even see that possibility.
In terms of
the fact that you can't even see that possibility.
There's a reason why.
It's extremely hazardous.
No, but there's a reason why I don't think that. The reason being is I'm pretty sure when he was sent to go and take out Natasha, he was given a file. He done research on who she was. These two had no kind of background, no interaction, because I'm pretty sure when he went after Natasha, it wasn't just like...
You're not understanding it, David. You're not understanding these basic...
I am understanding it.
David, these are basic narrative concepts.
No, but Manny, are you saying when he went after Natasha, he did not have any kind of background information or knowledge on who she was, what the target was? Now, talk like you've got sense now. What did he not get information
No,
on
you
her?
talk
Yes or
like you've
no?
got sense now.
I've got sense. I'm talking like
You haven't made any sense.
That what you're saying doesn't make no sense. You're saying that because she didn't shoot at her and because she didn't kick her off the side of the building and killed her, it was that moment that they realized, oh, there might be a potential of a possible friendship. That's the seed that they're sowing. That's what you're saying. That's possibility, the seed that they're sowing right there.
So you can't. So, listen. If you can't see the similarities between the beginning of Natasha and Clint's friendship and the beginning of Kate and Elena's friendship, I can't help you. That's it. I can't help you. You're by yourself. I can't help you. That's it. If you can't see this basic narrative point, I cannot help you.
How can you? Hang on.
I cannot help. I can't help you.
I don't need help, but did they show
a
flashback?
You do need serious help.
You need help because they didn't even show a flashback of how their interaction went. He just basically said that was the shot I didn't take. He said that. That's all he said.
These are basic narrative concepts. You're not understanding basic narrative concepts. This is like talking. Okay. This is trying to explain basics to a 5-year-old. Honestly.
No, this is like explaining basics to someone who can think logically and say, well, surely you would have done some research.
For the past 6 months, you're incapable of thinking logically most of the time.
Well, no, considering that most of it, I was actually right about most of the things.
What were you right about? You haven't been right about anything. Honestly, just talk. Honestly, you're pissing me off.
What wasn't I right about?
What was I not right about?
What was I not right about? You just want to. That makes no sense what you're saying, Manny.
Just go through the entire Eternals podcast. It's you just basically bloviating about lots of stuff. Just go through half of the Falcon and Winter Soldier podcast. It's you talking about how committing acts of revenge is perfectly justifiable.
Yes, well, it is.
Well, exactly. That's my point. But
it is. Just because you want to be all peaceful and everything, don't mean that everyone thinks that when they suffer injustice,
you need to understand what basic writing narrative concepts are. This is why I've sent myself on script writing courses, just so I can have a better understanding of how these things work. I've spent like weekends and weeks at like that studio in Earl's Court and learn about all this stuff. It's essential to how you write a story.
Yeah, it's essential. But at the same time, you need to actually have certain things that would make sense to say, yes, this could go in that direction.
That's the thing. It's making sense to everyone but you, Davian. It's only you who seems to have this mental blockage.
You can't speak for other people. It's making sense to you. You're saying that from that. You're telling me anyone else.
Okay, so the other so basically, Den of Geek made this point. New Rockstars made this point. Another 2 channels which I watch have made this point, and my microphone has changed for some reason.
I can still hear you good.
So, it's not, most people are making the same observation for some reason. You're not even willing to accept that this observation exists. But secondly, you're like, it's okay, like saying like, oh, I can see what they're trying to do. But
I can agree with what you're saying in terms of that.
I'm happy with that, but totally like saying, that's not what's happening.
No, I can agree if it's a rush job that they've done where they're doing it that way. But I'm saying personally, if you're watching that, you would not get that from that interaction because it's not like
I got it.
It's not like she even had like, which to me they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball right there because in a moment like that where she came for revenge,
then say that
for revenge. No, but it's not like she had that. She had an interaction.
To be able to identify what the basic narratives are.
Well, if that's what they were trying to do, then they went about it wrong.
Okay, that's fine. But the way you make points sometimes, you've got to build upon premise, and then you make an influence. That's how you make. That's how you analyze situations.
Yeah, but the funny thing is you want me to be able to expand on what I'm saying when I'm saying stuff, but you're not giving them the same treatment. They should expand on things if they want to plant seed. At least let them have like, even if it was a 1-minute dialogue where she said, I can't believe you killed my sister, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Then you could see, oh, there's a potential where Kate is there. She heard all of this. She wants to know his side. Then there's a potential of this or that. There was no verbal interaction whatsoever.
And for me, that's
And
what made it
I
better. It
found
was
it
kind of that beautiful
well.
look of the eyes, which just made it.
Well, looking at even their stature, yeah, their physical stature. Yelena, if you just shut up, let me just finish the sentence.
Okay,
I'm 2
just make sure
seconds.
it's sensible.
Yelena, yeah, Yelena and Echo ain't even built the same way. And you're telling me they don't even move the same way. And when she's there fighting him, he didn't notice that that's so clever. The first thing he's like, I'm up here fighting her. They're not even the same height. Physically, they don't move the same. They don't have the same fighting style. And he was straight away, his first interaction or his first thought was, I'm fighting Echo up here. She's like, no, I'm fighting her up there. He didn't figure any of that out in that space of time. You didn't think that was a bit strange, considering the way she was moving? She's moving like someone with 2 legs. The way she was dodging certain things and doing that. Echo doesn't move that way. You didn't see that?
Okay. No, personally, no.
Okay. It's amazing. Like you got selective vision, just like I've got selective understanding.
You got to remember it was dark, and he would expect Echo to be the one attacking him.
Yeah, but Manny, he's not just a regular agent. He's like, even though he's a human, they still consider him a superhero.
Do you got to remember as well, Echo's fighting style is basically what she's seen. So she'll just copy whatever fighting style she's fighting as well. So it's hard to put upon Echo a specific fighting style.
Yeah, Manipi, I can agree with you with that, except for one thing. If it's hand movement, then I could say, yes, she could mimic things 100%. But when it comes to anything with even footwork, it's going to be impossible considering she got 1 leg. It's not like it's the bionic leg, the second leg where it still moves.
The story is that actually Echo's done so well with her life. Well, let me rephrase that. She's done so well, like empowering herself. I mean, working for criminal organization is not a good example of doing well with your life. But she's and neither was revenge, people. Revenge is not a thing you should go after. As much as the more on the other side seems to think so.
Well, funny thing is, Echo feels that way too, and you like her character.
I don't like Kate. I like Echo as well, but I haven't even spoken about Echo in this episode.
But in general, you like Echo because you was quite intrigued about Echo.
Yeah, I do like Echo. I don't know how that's a derogatory point in my direction, though.
Because she's out for vengeance too, just like I think vengeance is acceptable.
No, I think she's an interesting character. I don't like her because of the vengeance side, but I think she's an interesting character. But I think part of the cool thing about her story is that she has the leg issue, but she's become such a skilled athlete, despite all of her setbacks, that she can almost operate so well as a fighter without even having, she's so well, she's adapted so well that it's actually unnoticeable that she has that she only has 1 leg.
Well,
okay, let me check the comments because
touching on that, Manny, what you're saying.
I need some sanity.
Considering Kingpin is her uncle,
comments,
and he's got all those.
Okay, this is a good point from Mr. Cato. To me, he made this when I said that I was worried that Clint might die. Clint can't die till he has a talk with Elena, which is 100% right. Oh, that's another point as well. So, you think Eleanor was on the phone to Kingpin?
You know what? I'm gonna change that.
Are you gonna change it to what I'm thinking?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly who you're thinking.
Okay, let's spell out the words together to show everybody we're still friends.
The big boss behind. Yeah, her.
Val.
Yep.
So I wonder if actually that was the phone call, which we see in the end credits of Black Widow 2. It's actually in that moment Eleanor's making the phone call to Val, which shows exactly how deep maybe some of these criminal organization tendrils seep into government levels as well. She can make a phone call and be like, I need a widow to take out Clint Barton. Can you help me? Because we don't know when that exact scene happened, like in the timeline of the MCU. So I think that's a possibility. But I think we are going to need a scene where Clint will talk to Yelena and they'll kind of have a heart-to-heart about it. And then Clint's going to die. I don't want him to die, but I've just got this really bad feeling now that he's going to die. The eyes tell a story. Yes, the eyes do tell a story. This is the good thing about acting. Sometimes you don't need dialogue. If you can just, if you can narrate something with a look, that is far more impactful than words. Sometimes it's like that scene in Edward Scissorhands when Winona Ryder tells Johnny Depp's character to just go, and he just gives this blank face and then leaves. That face he gives to Winona, this kind of like blank, solemn, sad. He doesn't understand why he has to go. Face.
Edward Scissorhands or
Edward Scissorhands. Yeah. That scene within itself said a lot more than any kind of dialogue could have done, simply by Johnny Depp's amazing acting in that scene.
But you know what? Come to think of, you know what Mr. Cato said about Clint can't die before he speaks to Yelena. I don't think it's Clint. I think Hawkeye. I think he wants Hawkeye dead, as in he wants that side of him dead. I think he's done with that. Yeah. I think he just wants to be. I think he literally now just wants to be Clint Barton. I think he just wants to just be at home with his family and just literally just have like a regular life now. I think he's done with that. So I don't think he wants to die, because I think he loves his family too much. So he wouldn't do that to his wife. But I think he just wants Hawkeye dead, which I think it makes sense, because it kind of proves it in the point that in that 5-year span, he wasn't going around as Hawkeye, which he could have done exactly what he was doing as Hawkeye, but instead he did it as Ronin. I think he's wanted Hawkeye to be dead. He wanted to be done with that whole thing for a long time, because I think in reality he realized, don't care how good he is, it's hard for him to keep up with what's actually going on, because he's not fighting against people with similar abilities like him. He's fighting against extraterrestrial being that's got all these kind of powers. He's not young anymore. So again, it's twice as hard to keep up. So I think he wants Hawkeye dead, and he just wants to be Clint at home, making cookies, watching films, just being there with the wife.
Yeah, I agree for once. I think this is.
And sorry, one more thing, Manny. And I think he probably wants to, which again, like you said, I think it would be interesting if we find out more about his wife. I think he probably might want to do a role more like what his wife may be doing. Like maybe do have a little work, but maybe be on the tech side. So he's more like sending out information as opposed to going out on the battlefield.
Yeah.
I don't think you can ever really leave that kind of work completely. I think it will just be like you just move to a different department. So you're no longer going to be out on the battlefield, but you still do like maybe the prep work. So give information on targets, something like that, where you're not really putting yourself in danger, but you're still an asset in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a comment here. Kate had the shot to take Yelena out. Yelena gave a look of don't, which she did. Yeah, she was like, no, don't shoot me. Kate remembered Clint's words and did not take the shot, which was the narrative. As I said before, this was the see, somebody else saw the exact same narrative as well. Somebody feels a bit silly now, don't they?
No, not really. I'm gonna stick to my guns.
Yeah, like any. Yeah,
I'm gonna be like them people, like the musicians on the Titanic when it's going down, even though they know that it's going down. I'm gonna still sit there and just be playing away with a stiff upper lip.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, Mr. Carroll just making the same point I did again, but just saying, yeah, and I think as well, like in that moment, Yelena sees herself as the good guy because she sees herself as doing a job for her sister, And again, that's good, all right. Again, we're getting this is revenge talk again. But in that moment, you know, she's like saying to Kate, "Look, I'm not after you. I'm after Clinty boy over here. So you know, we ain't got a beef. So you don't have to take me out." So there's a lot being communicated between those two with that very look, and I'm looking very forward to them actually having a proper conversation at some point. I think maybe after Clint dies and Elena's got to console. I don't know why I'm just convinced myself Clint dies and Elena's got to console Kate. Yeah. Echo can live in two worlds. Absolutely. She's adapted to living a civilian life and a kind of criminal underworld life as well. This is interesting. Mr. Cater actually doesn't think it was Val Eleanor was on the phone to. So I'm interested to find out. Who do you think Val was on the phone to? Do you think she was on the phone to Domino's Pizza?
You mean Eleanor?
Yeah.
Not Val.
Sorry. Who do you think Eleanor was on the phone to? Do you think she was on the phone to Domino's Pizza ordering a double pepperoni?
Well, let's find out next week. We'll see. I mean, it's either going to be Kingpin, like we said, or it's going to be Val. It's one of the two. There's no one else.
Yeah. So essentially, as well, I think what we saw as well was, like at the end, you know, Clint is afraid now because a widow's gotten involved, and I don't think he realised that this particular widow is Natasha's sister. But again, going back to she's actually really good. I didn't even realise this, but until I've just worked out in my mind now. But I think as well, the comment which Eleanor made to Clint early in the episode, where he made that Natasha Needle comment to him, I think that's the reason as well why Clint goes to Kate and says, like, "No, you can't come with me anymore. That's it. We're done. You can't come with me," because he doesn't want he doesn't want Kate's death on his hands as well. And obviously, Kate is going to get back involved. Have you seen the trailer for episode 5?
No.
Yeah, so it looks like they were going to go to a party. It looks very cool.
Is that the party that she was talking about?
I'm assuming so. And I'm assuming so. It looks like basically it's going to be Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yeah, basically the episode is going to be like Die Hard, the movie, from what we can make out from the trailer.
Oh, you mean where the building gets taken over and
yeah. It's an entirely similar premise from what people were saying, and from people, the little details people noticing. They're saying that this episode is just going to be one big tribute to Die Hard. Right.
Well, I like Die Hard anyway, and it's Christmas time, and technically, Die Hard has now become the new Christmas family film now, isn't it? That's on TV every Christmas.
Yep. Whenever one of my young nephews or nieces come to visit and they're 5 years old again, first thing I do is I'll put on Die Hard. I'm like, this is a great Christmas movie.
Yeah, when Bruce was just getting the receding hairline.
Hey, poor Bruce. You can do wonders now with hair transplants, though.
Yeah, it should do for Die Hard 6 or 7.
The technology has really come a long way now with hair transplants. So yeah, episode 5 looks really good. Apparently, episode 5 is going to be groundbreaking. Not groundbreaking. It's going to break the internet, is what they're saying.
Yeah, I tagged you in that thing as well, didn't I? Saying something about.
I have to admit, I haven't read all the things you've tagged me in.
Yes, loads. Always, as soon as I see something that's got something to do with that, I'm like, man.
I also worry as well that you tag me in those, hoping I'll read them so you don't have to.
Yeah. Damn it, he's found me out. That too, but yeah.
You're very predictable, Mr. Sullivan. So that's the other reason I don't. So I'm like, no, you do your own homework. Anyway, what are you expecting for episode 5?
I am expecting. I think it's going to be maybe a lot more innuendos leading towards who we think is really running things. You know, if Eleanor really is just a innocent mother and wife to be just running her business, or if she's more deep than we actually think. And I think possibly at the end of it, we're going to see someone is going to make an appearance. We don't know who, but there will be, someone is going to be there. But then if that's the case, either it's going to be a one-on-one interaction where that happens, because it can't be a public entrance where at the party reveals himself, because if it is, say, for instance, the Kingpin, if he reveals himself at the party, basically means that episode 5 is going to be rated R, because it means he's going to have to kill everyone. You can't let no one leave who knows your identity. So either it's going to be something where he has a moment with Clint where he lets him know, yes, I'm behind this XYZ, or yeah, that's it really, or Val, who knows? Could be one of them that show up.
So yeah, I'm just hoping for Kingpin. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping we see Kingpin turn up. It comes out the same day as Spider-Man. Hopefully, I'll get my negative PCR test so I can actually watch Spider-Man on Wednesday. If I can't watch Spider-Man on Wednesday, I won't be here for episode 5 stream because I'll be too upset. I'll be just in my bed crying my eyes out.
And funnily enough, I can actually do Wednesday because I'm not actually working on Wednesday. So yeah, I can actually watch it on Wednesday.
Cool. So I'm hoping we have a day where I watch Kingpin in the late afternoon. Not Kingpin. I'll just renamed the show Kingpin. He's taken over the show. I watch episode 5 Hawkeye and I see Kingpin in the late afternoon of the 15th of December. Then I go to the cinema at 7:30. I think it's the Wolfenstein IMAX. I'm going to go and see it. And I'm hoping that I then see Charlie Cox in his full glory. For Charlie Cox, I'm actually going to switch my filter to red. And yeah, hoping to see Charlie Cox in his full glory, in Spider-Man in some way, shape, or form.
Or Andy Garfield.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool as well. But I mean, just in the context of Hawkeye, it would be good to see all of that going on. Anyway, I'm going to call this a day because I am tired. I'm tired of this goddamn whatever it is. I think I've got a cold. I don't think I've got COVID.
Yeah, it's a cold. I got that as well too. But I've been recovering and slowly getting there. I'm literally going to be working in like 6 minutes as soon as we get off the podcast.
Are you? Okay.
But then yes, I'm also going to be, like I said, hopefully, you're good so we can watch it on Wednesday because, I've got a sparring session on Thursday. So, I might be getting my butt kicked, so I might not be around after Thursday. But, that's why I'm sporting the rugged bearded look. That's my Rocky. Oh my! See how my hands are like blurry? That's how fast I'm moving. That's my Rocky tribute right there, getting prepared for training, for that fight. So wish your boy luck.
Well, let's hope the internet. I'm sure the internet's hoping. Yeah, I'm sure the internet is hoping
that I win.
That you get a bit. You get Jake Pauled, basically.
That I get beat up and the person call me like Tyson Fury. You're a great big dosser, Davian. You're a big dosser, Davie P. Yeah.
It was KSI beat up the other brother, didn't he? He won.
Yeah. Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson's going to be finishing the job soon.
Yeah. Oh dear, them hands. Could you do your little hand thing again, please?
Oh, that's what they're going to get on Thursday. You want these hands? Actually, you need to send me this clip of the hands because I need to let the person know what's in store.
You were dropped on your head as a child, I think.
And then I do that after, once I win.
Anyway, guys, I will see you next week and hopefully...
I'll be here, but if not, Mr. Cater will be there if I'm in a cast.
Listen, yeah, do you know something? Do not talk rubbish to Mr. Kato. He does not tolerate it. You're lucky you've got me. That's all I'm saying. He does not tolerate any of that rubbish. So yeah. He's told me off numerous times as well. Have you know, not for geek related stuff, for actual like life reasons. But yeah, do not mess with that man. He will put you in your place and make sure you stay there.
You're making the guest seem like he's you're making him feel all fuzzy and welcomed already.
No, he's a very well. He can do this because he has the respect of all of his peers. Like other people who try and tell me off in my friendship group, I'll be like, "Who are you? Like, you're an idiot. Like, don't tell me off." He tells me off. I'm like, I respect your opinion, so I'm just going to sit here and take the L.
Well, that's a bit close-minded, Manny P. You only take advice from certain people.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. So, David, if you came around and started telling me off about, something to do with Hawkeye, I'll be like, no, not really. But if Mr. Cato came, started talking to me about my life choices, I'd be like, okay, if he's telling me off, because he doesn't do it often, I'm like, I probably deserve this talking to.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, wish me luck for next Thursday, but I'm probably going to see you on Wednesday. Well, Mr. Cato, if you're about, come as well, innit? Let's all go and watch it. You can bring the camera.
Me and Cato are going to go and see it on Wednesday anyway.
So wait, I just invited myself to this showing on Wednesday.
Yeah, and you've already sold out, sorry.
Wait, hang on. You just let me invited myself.
Yeah, I didn't want to embarrass you. I didn't want to embarrass you on air. I was going to talk to you.
Well, it's too late now. You already done it on live.
you were in full flow. I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry.
I'm like that kid that inviting themselves on the holiday, get my little suitcase all packed and come, and then get there. Yeah, sorry, Tom, but you can't come. It's not got enough room on the plane. Oh, don't worry about me, guys. I'll just go back home with my bag. Yeah. That's fine. I'm not invited.
It's probably a good thing you're not coming for us as well, because we're going to be some of our other friends as well, and some of their family, and I think one of the young children is coming with us. I wouldn't want to be in a situation where even their children are kind of like, "Mummy, this man doesn't know what he's talking about," which probably would happen. Yeah. Which is good for you.
That's fine. My feelings is hurt, but I'll be in. Where I'll be? I'll be in the gym training. So this is more fuel for the fire. Yeah.
You know how I said earlier that you could take Boris Johnson in a fight?
Yeah.
After seeing them hands, I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure why you're so tucked up in here. Loosen up a bit.
Listen, no, you don't know anything about fighting, Manny P. This is classic 1900s.
No,
yeah? You put up the dukes like that, and you
listen. You have to go to work in a second, but I'm sure up here it all makes sense. You know what you're doing. I'm just not sure it's translating properly to here and here.
Yeah, it's kind of like dancing sometimes, isn't it? Some people think they're out there killing it, but in reality, to everyone else, you're not cutting shapes.
Some people are better commentators than they are doers. Anyway, goodbye, everybody.